Hola amigos, bien o no, mis saludos desde Inglaterra. Hoy quiero compartir un poquito con nuestra buena clima hoy. Maravilloso, ¿no? Por hacer el video aquí en el jardín. Um, el tema de hoy es poco continuar con el tema ayer en por qué, por qué ayudarnos para leer. También es para hablar con este tema o idea que en verdad libros y especialmente literatura ayudarnos a más o menos para hacer un viaje en espacio y tiempo. So ese es el tema de hoy. So hello again. Well, today we're actually in the garden because the weather's marvellous. I thought I'd do the video from out here. So my idea of the day is talk about how books, maybe perhaps also literature really, in the sense of books that were written a long while ago, how they kind of help us not just improve our language, but the interesting sense of changing our perspective on things a bit, because really by reading them we're kind of travelling back in time, or in other ways we're sharing experiences from someone who wrote a book a long while ago, but often it seems relevant to us now. And this is an interesting idea, yeah? How so? How does that work? I don't really have an answer for that, but it's an interesting idea. How is it that you can read a book that was written by someone 100, 200 years ago who had no idea of the world we currently live in? You can read the book and look at the adventures of the characters he writes about, but still find something in common to them in the sense of the problems and the way they resolve them speaks to you. That's interesting, yeah? And how that works with us as learners of a new language, finding words to talk about our experiences, and the fact that really we can pick stuff even from a long way back, and the experiences are fairly similar. So the vocabulary is there. So there are all kinds of reasons why improving our reading, or reading from lots of different things, not necessarily just contemporary stuff, but all kinds of reading we come across, will help us by improving our fluency. And it's also to say that although sometimes you might think that some of these, let's say what are generally listed as literature or classic type books, might be too difficult to understand. And perhaps at first they can be a bit confusing, because you might think, well, I'm not sure what they're talking about there. If you get the chance, persevere a bit, because somewhere in there, there's going to be at least one or two sentences that will speak to you, and then it's worth the reading. So that's our challenge of the day. Read as widely as you can, and don't be put off just because the book was written a long while ago. So on a happy note, here from the garden, where I'm going to enjoy what's left of our sunset here, we'll say cheerio.